My BF wants to break up with me. How to change his mind? We've dated for 4 years. We lived together for about 2 years. About 2 years ago he said he was not happy due to 1. My unhealthy lifestyle, eating habits / not working out. 2. Not keeping the place clean. 3. He doesn't feel loved. Basically he wants a healthy, loving, clean person as his partner. Over the past 2 years I really tried, but it was hard to change the person I am. I would try for a few weeks and sort of get back to my normal state as I get comfortable again. Also, I am not obese, but I do tend to gain weight, overweight BMI, and get thin back and forth a lot, but over the past year, I've been overweight. He told me he was unhappy over the past 2 years, maybe every 2-3 months we had the same conversations, and I would try again. But a month ago, he gave me an ultimatum that he actually wanted to break up with me for real. And I really tried my best for a few weeks to change his mind. We seemed happy for a few weeks, but last night he broke up again with me saying that he tried to see how he felt but he still did not change his mind. He said that he now notices that I really do try to change, but if I did years ago it would have worked, but now he is burned out and he does not care about our relationship anymore and he can't get over the fact that I didn't try for 2 years but now. But he still cares a lot about me. He wanted to get groceries for me before he went on a long trip, and took me out on a nice dinner last night as he felt sad that he was leaving for a long time. And also promised to get me a gift sometime soon, everything that a normal couple would do. But we had a small argument last night. We briefly argued on how he doesn't treat me well in front of my friends compared to my friends' BFS, and that's why he brought it up, that he was not sure if he could make me happy either as he doesn't see our relationship working and he is not motivated to do it, and he said we should break up as it's not fair for me. Also he said despite me actually trying these past weeks he cannot get over. I really cannot imagine my life without him. I know I am such a terrible person for actually making changes until now that he is stepping out of the door. I really like to change and I don't want to lose him. We live together, but he is on a trip for 3 weeks. He said it is okay if I move out while he is gone, but it's also okay if I can't find a place and I can stay until then. But the fact that he is okay with not seeing me again when he's back from his trip shocked me and made me feel devastated. I really do think if I actually was not overweight things could have been different, as he mentioned multiple times that he was disappointed that I gained weight a few times in the past months, because other things were changed, but the overweight part he mentioned recently many times. I feel like all I have to try is to be fit before he comes back and see how attracted he feels now, as he said he lost attraction since I've been overweight. I just would like to do anything that will make him change his mind. Also, should I try to completely stop texting him this time so he actually misses me? Any help is appreciated. Comment. You are trying to keep a relationship someone else is trying to leave, it won't work. Best you can do is let him leave, and if you really that fucked up in the head wanting him still, then do all the shit he complains you didn't do, and maybe after a while he will desire you again when you are his desired size and live his desired lifestyle. He will see that and come back to you. Either way, is he worth it really to not be yourself, to alter what makes you happy? Find someone that worships you for you. You have already lost him. That's the hard truth you need to embrace. He told you, repeatedly, what he wanted and you didn't do it. He no longer wants a different version of you, he wants a different person. You should focus your energy on planning your life without him. If that includes changing for yourself because you want to, fine, make them. If you would otherwise not change yourself, then don't. But don't change for him because he is gone. It might be better to prioritize being a person who sets goals and accomplishes them rather than trying to change his mind. I think he sees your lack of follow-through as indication that you don't love him. If you lose the weight and he stays, does that mean he's shallow or that he believes you're trying? Standard diet advice is failing most of America. Crash diets can be bad. Many will disagree with me, but I think the carnivore diet is the quickest high nutrition diet. You can expect lots of water weight loss the first 2 weeks, aka crazy diarrhea. Slower would be better, but you don't have time. Include minerals to offset the initial keto flu. 15 pounds in 3 weeks is possible. Again, you're asking what will make him change. Wrong attitude. How can you be a woman worthy of your own respect? Don't beg. Don't overthink or play games like making him miss you. Be your best person. Treat him right. Treat yourself right. It will work with him sooner or later, or not at all. In the end, you will live with yourself and you will attract a great guy to yourself. Next story 2. I am not comfortable with my mother-in-law meeting my family. Advice on broaching the topic. I have been with my partner for almost 7 years. We are not married but are common law where we live. For simplicity's sake I will call his mother Mill. The opportunity for my family to meet his family has not come up, so earlier this year the topic was brought up and it was suggested that my Mill come with us to Christmas at my parents' house this year so they can meet. Nothing set in stone, just an idea that was thrown out. Everyone seemed okay with it at the time, and I was excited for them to finally meet. However, I am no longer excited and wish to rescind the invite, but do not know how to broach the topic. Recent conversations have revealed that my Mill is quite homophobic and transphobic. I always knew that she was somewhat intolerant but did not know the full extent. Anytime she has ever mentioned anything slightly homophobic or transphobic around me I have gently challenged her and we've had some light discussions about it. Recently we had a discussion that ended with her storming off because I disagreed with her and brought up stats and studies to back my points which she did not have rebuttals to other than her personal opinion about one specific trans person who she's only met once and makes assumptions about who they are based on false stereotypes, e.g. claiming they are only trans so they can fondle women in a change room, which is entirely unfounded. I thought the conversation was civil, no one had raised their voice, no personal attacks made on us, I never once insulted her, only listened to her points, offered counterpoints and facts, and asked for clarification on why she felt the way she did. I honestly thought it was a civil discussion until she stormed off and my sil said I should have dropped it long ago. The entire conversation was less than 30 minutes, and said that if I disagree with Mill to just remain silent. It is evident I misread the conversation tone. I thought it was a civil discussion and sharing of information, but I am not great at accurately reading people's tone or picking up on sarcasm. However, I do not agree with the if you disagree remain silent approach as no one ever learns anything new that way and I will not stay silent while someone is being openly hateful. When she came back after a few minutes she had calmed back down and the topic was changed, so as far as I know there are no hard feelings. I also know my Mill does not shy away from openly judging others. If she does not like you or something you are doing she will make it known, even told her my partner and I we going to hell for not believing her religion, even though she's okay with us living together when not married, and she openly insults people she doesn't like. I have 2 younger siblings, 15 and 17, both of who don't follow strict gender norms and are comfortable being called any pronoun, so I wouldn't have to worry about her openly misgendering them. However, I worry about how she will treat them. She was so quick to call her ex a transvestite just for experimenting with clothing, something she divorced him over, and then the recent baseless accusations against Sil's friend, plus some other smaller things. Both of them already deal with only half acceptance from my parents, and my mom constantly trying to push them into stereotypical gender roles. As well as our own extended family constantly judging them. I don't want to risk adding yet another anti-LGBTQ person to their surroundings, especially not one that is more hateful than the others and throws out baseless accusations. I have no clue how she'd react if she saw my AMAB sibling wearing a dress, for example. I don't want to burn any bridges though and don't want to put strain on our relationship as it may strain her relationship with my partner. All this to say, how can I delicately approach this topic without burning bridges when it gets brought up again with the holidays fast approaching? It hasn't been brought up by anyone recently and honestly I think they may have forgotten, but on the off chance it gets brought up, does anyone have any advice on wording? Comment. There is no way to gently say this, in my opinion. You can start by saying that you want to cancel the plans of your Mill meeting your family, and that it's something to be better planned and thought of in the future. That after she displayed LGBT phobia, you don't think it will be a comfortable situation for anybody, and a better plan needs to be put in place. Otherwise, your Mill may hurt your siblings and she may feel ganged up on by your family, who will not let this stand. Be blunt, but it's important to explicitly tell your partner that your family will not accept any comments from her and this will be shut down, and so she may not feel comfortable or the situation may turn sour quickly. If your partner still wishes for this, remind them this is your family, and it's ultimately your decision. But I would only mention this if they try to fight or convince you that. I obviously don't know about how they can react, so this is just to cover all bases. Next story 3. How do I deal with insecurity in my relationship with my BF? Is it fair to ask for more assurance? I got out of a long-term abusive relationship probably 10 months before I met my current boyfriend, and we've been dating for about 4 months now. I thought I was ready for a relationship because I felt like I'd moved on from the previous one, and that is true, but I'm learning there's a whole other side to just getting over my ex. My ex was my only other serious partner, and I feel like he taught me what to expect from a man in a relationship, and what the man expects of me. My current BF challenges those expectations, and when I realize this I feel so incredibly dumb and I worry that I'm not good enough for him. E.g. with my ex I never doubted that he was super into me. We both got attached very quickly and wanted to spend time with each other constantly. My current BF isn't like this. While he moved very quickly with the sex and the I love yous and the family/friends introductions, I only get to see him like 2 or maybe 3 times per week. I worry that he'd dump me if someone better came along and generally feel just so insecure. He treats me so well and we've talked very briefly about moving in together, both agreed we'd like to, but it feels a little too soon, and he's even said he sees no reason why he wouldn't end up marrying me. But still I don't know how to feel secure. I am really struggling. The other night his friends were over and we went out to smoke and I got terribly self-conscious and like petrified by anxiety. Eventually I went to bed and he followed me maybe 20 minutes later, and when he got in and held me he told me that he loved me, and immediately I was so happy. So relieved. I was so sure I'd embarrassed him in front of his friends, or made dumb mistakes like not sitting next to him at the dinner table we hosted, but when he said that and by the way he was holding me I knew I hadn't. Why can't I just rest assured? Is it okay to tell him this and ask for more assurance, or is that like a red flag? I just want him to text me first more, tell me he loves me and give me compliments when he feels like it. Is it possible he doesn't feel like it any more than he lets me know? Comment. Alright, so the thing about past relationships and baggage. Most will be understanding about it to a degree. Most can understand that past relationships will result in some challenges, and if you want to be with someone, you need to deal with it in some fashion. But typically only on the condition of you putting in effort yourself. Ideally you come correct before the relationship, but that is rarely the case. We all have our flaws, and to think otherwise would be out of touch with reality. If you're coming to a new relationship and telling your partner, that will become too much of a burden on the other person. If you're doing that, then you need to put more work into yourself and not come off as a chore to the other. In saying that, this is your relationship, don't forget that. Maybe some things to unpack. Abusive relationships are always more passionate. This is because people with poor impulse control, aka the abuser, says and does whatever pops into their head at any given moment. Along with that never doubted he was super into me also came his rages, insults and criticisms, and fists. Abusers also tend to go overboard in the affirmations of love department because that's the only way to keep someone in an abusive relationship. People with proper control over their emotions just don't act out like this, for better or worse. In any relationship either party can dump the other without notice. Even in a marriage one party can come home and suddenly ask for a divorce. There are no guarantees in love. This is something anyone embarking on a romance needs to accept as the cost of doing business. The fastest way to doom this would be to move in together too soon. This talk of marriage is a red flag too. So if this guy isn't willing to wait the recommended 12 months before moving you in and 24 months before asking to marry you, you'll know you've got another not well emotionally adjusted individual on your hands. It's been 4 months, roughly 120 days. It's just way too soon for anything to have solidified here. So don't be panicked that he's going to end this, but also don't be convinced yet that it's the real thing. You're just in a new relationship with a very different kind of person than you've dated before. If you make it a priority to adjust to this, to be frank, more normal style of romantic interaction, you'll be fine. But never forget that there are few things less attractive than insecurity. So talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your therapist if you've got one. Just don't talk to this guy about how insecure you feel in this relationship. He sounds like a great guy. Trust him and trust that he picked you for good reasons. Talk to him about how he can reassure you without being a burden. For now, be glad you found each other.